Hey Sanford fans, welcome into this week's edition of the Sanford Sports Wrap-Up, presented by Alabama Power. I'm John McAfee, happy today to be joined by Rod Tiffin, head coach of the men's and women's track and field teams. Rod, I appreciate your time. Congrats on 2 more championships last weekend.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
Coach of the year on the men's side as well. I want to make sure I get that out there. But again, 6 straight now for the women, back-to-back for the men. I mean, I know it's hard to put into words, but talk a little bit about the culture of the program and how you guys continue as a program to do this year in and year out.
Yeah, it is hard to put into words. You know, the behind the scenes is so overwhelming to our staff and to our kids to have that streak out there. I mentioned to you earlier, it just gets harder and harder every year, and no one wants to be the one that loses the streak. You know, no senior class wants to be the one that loses that streak, and we all know it's eventually going to go away. But you know, we want to extend it as long as possible. I think 7, I think, is the record, so we'll be trying to go for the record next year, and hopefully we can string another one together there and tie that up, and then maybe even set the record the year after. But we'll take it year by year. But yeah, and then the men coming in and starting a streak of their own is pretty special, and it makes that bus ride a lot easier coming back from Lexington when we both are celebrating and not just one team. So.
A lot of individual performers worth mentioning. Let's start with Justin Stuckey on the men's side. An incredible year for him. He's coming off an injury too, and he's just continued to get better all year. I know he tied the program record in the high jump. He set a facility record. He's continued to climb the national rankings, and now he's qualified for the NCAA Indoor Championships. Yeah,
he does. He continues to get better and better, and he's still just learning the sport. You know, he literally gets better every time he goes out to practice, and that's the fun thing for him. You know, to keep his motivation up, and that's the fun thing for us to be able to be a part of is watching his growth. And Coach Shoemaker has done a great job with him and being able to help him develop and get better and better every year.
Evan Brooks, a great showing as well, won the 60-meter and 200-meter dashes and was named most outstanding track athlete on the men's side, and he keeps racking up these accolades. It's hard to believe he's still just a sophomore.
Right. Yes, the same way. You know, Evan got a little bit of an injury there at the meet and was able to push through and get some things done. So even what he did there at the meet was kind of just a small part of what he's ready to do right now, and that's he's going to be. You know, we lose Emmanuel Tate this year. He only had outdoor eligibility, and so to have a guy like Evan step into his shoes and start already fulfilling those roles that he fulfilled, it's great. It's just you know, you just keep trying to do that, and you hope that you can do that to keep rolling them through like that. But when you get a guy like Evan that I'm going to have for another 3 years plus maybe a COVID year, you know, you never know. So.
On the women's side, Hannah Daffin, definitely worth mentioning, won the women's shot put, most outstanding field performer on the women's side, and again, just a sophomore.
Yeah, I did. She got the meet started for us. The throws were early both days, and kind of set the tone for us, and which we always really appreciate with our throws area because it's early. And so when some of our athletes, of course, all our staff is there bright and early, but when our athletes come roll in. When those events are finishing up and seeing her at the top of the leaderboard, it kind of gets them fired up and know, okay, we're ready to go. So.
And Matt Cahoon was the most outstanding field performer on the men's side. I know we've talked about him in the past, but he's just been a rock in this program.
Yeah, he has, and it's, you know, Matt is a young guy that I'd keep around forever. I think he called me last year and just said, hey, I'd like to come back for my COVID year, and I said, please do, you know. So he's a guy that has been a rock in our program, like you said, and he continues to get better, and that's the exciting part. And to have a guy that can win the shot and the weight and then come back and get second in the high jump is just, I've never seen it before.
Let's talk about the end of that women's 4x400 relay as well. It didn't seem like it was going to be there for you guys at the end, but then Amanda Dumar, the late push, and you guys end up pulling it out.
Yeah. Well, the setup for that was, to be honest, you know, I told the young ladies, I said, we've already clinched the meet. And told the guys this too. I said, I would love to see you guys go out and run. For some of you, it may be your last indoor race. But I also understand if you're tired and you feel like that you just want to start celebrating, then I'm good with that. And they, to a person, said, you know, we want to go out and run. We want to finish this thing off the way Sanford always finishes this thing off. And so to do that, yeah, and the crowd was just kind of sitting there, and we were all kind of on our hands because it was a very strung out race if you watch the race real early. So there wasn't much drama in it till the last 100 meters of that last lap, and Amanda came charging around and it put the whole crowd, not only our team, of course, we're up yelling and screaming, but it kind of put the whole crowd on edge, you know, and a lot of the workers there and the VMI employees and things like that just got so excited about it. And Amanda, you can't say enough about Amanda. She's a young lady that has pulled herself up by the bootstraps, and she has gone from, you know, an athlete that we've enjoyed having in our program to start with to being a major player in our program, and you love to see that, you know. And in 4 years, you know, she's changed herself from to a real player in our program and a conference, you know, someone that contends for conference titles in a couple of events. So it's been really fun to watch her maturation and now she gets, unfortunately, she gets to go off to PT school in Florida. So we'll miss her, that's for sure.
Well, we talk about how every year you lose a lot of talent, but you guys just reload year in and year out. What is your philosophy when you're out there on the recruiting trail?
Yeah, that was I'm not going to lie, that was a big stressor for me this year. We took 10 freshmen to the championship. We get to travel 25, and we took 10 freshmen. So, but yeah, you know, we just continue to try to recruit good kids, and that's the thing. And we all talk about a Sanford athlete or Sanford kid or whatever, but that's the truth of it. We look for kids that want to be part of something bigger than themselves, and that's where we start. You know, then very close to it, we look at how they perform, of course, but we want them to be able to put team in front of self, and when they can do that, you know, and come in here and jump right in with both feet, like all of our freshmen have done over the last few years, it makes my life a lot easier.
Well, you get to enjoy it for a week or two, but outdoor season right around the corner. Just give us a little preview.
Yeah, we're going to take Justin to the national meet, like you mentioned, in a couple of weeks, and then the week after that, we're right back at it. So we get one weekend off, so that should be good. But you know, we outdoors ramps up for us a little bit. We'll go to a lot of the Power 5 schools and compete there outdoors and try to. I guess, for lack of a better term, hone our skills before we go into the outdoor conference, which comes really quick in our conference. You know, we're really only about 6 weeks away from our outdoor conference meeting, I think now, or maybe 7. So it rolls through really quick once it gets going, and it's one of those things, John, where you know you didn't know if we were going to finish week 1, and now we're already talking about the outdoor conference meet. So it's been a blessing for sure for our student athletes to be able to do what they've done, and I'm excited to get going with outdoors because I do feel like I want to send those seniors off with a good season.
Rod, again, appreciate your time. Congratulations on 2 more championships and being named Head Coach of the Year for the men.
Well, thanks, John.
That's Head Coach Rod Tiffin. Outdoor track and field will open its season in 2 weeks at Georgia Tech. I'm John McAfee. That'll do it for the Sanford Sports Wrap-Up presented by Alabama Power.